Good evening, and welcome to the 2021 edition of the PYO Music Institute Annual Gala, COVID style. My name's Jim Mature, and I've had the honor of serving as the chairman of the PYO Board of Trustees for the last 3 years. And on behalf of all of our highly engaged trustees, I want to thank you for tuning in. You can witness firsthand the transformative impact that our music programs have on the artistic and personal lives and growth of our talented and hardworking students. This takes a big team of dedicated people, and that includes our professional and administrative staff, our faculty, our volunteers, and our devoted alumni. But most of all, I'd like to thank our community of generous supporters. They make all of this possible. It's my hope that what you see in the next hour will move you and inspire many of you to join the ranks of our supporters. Thanks again, and please enjoy.
Good evening and welcome to More Than Music, the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra Music Institute's 2021 Virtual Gala. I'm Louis Scaglione, President and Music Director of the PYO Music Institute. I'm joined this evening by our co-host, Yuki Washington, news anchor for CBS 3 Philadelphia. Good evening, Yuki.
Good evening, Maestro. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here with you, and good evening to all of you who are joining us virtually, locally, nationally, and from around the world for this celebratory event.
Yes, thank you for joining us live from the Primavera Room, our newly renovated rehearsal and recital space at St. Patrick Hall, the home of the PYO Music Institute. This past season has been quite a journey. Together, we've navigated the many challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the many challenges we've had in our society. Through this season, we've become stronger both as individuals and as a community. Tonight is an opportunity to celebrate that. We're glad to share with you our extended community of students, families, music teachers, patrons, and supporters just how far we've come.
During this program, you'll have the opportunity to see and hear from PYO Music Institute students, families, and faculty. And as you'll see, it goes far beyond the music. But let's start tonight with just that. Selections from PYO Music Institute's Bravo Brass. This group is a phenomenal ensemble of talented high school musicians who play some of the best repertoire for brass ensemble. This is a performance of the Baz dans Bergeret from the Susasto Suite by Tilman Susasto, arranged by John Iveson. This performance is led by Bravo Brass director Paul Bryant.
Thank you, Bravo Brass, for that inspiring performance. Bravo Brass is one of our 6 program divisions at the PYO Music Institute. Altogether, we typically serve nearly 600 students annually with transformative music education. Through the pursuit of musical excellence, our students develop individually and as a community. Through their musical experiences, they build the traits and tools to become tomorrow's leaders.
That's for sure. The pandemic upended all of our lives, but PYO Music Institute pressed on to provide critical instruction and necessary community for its students. As you'll see in just a moment, the lessons learned through PYO Music Institute have been especially important and impactful throughout the pandemic. These students are all the more resilient, dedicated, and disciplined because of their participation during this difficult time.
The PYO Music Institute was founded in 1939 by a middle school music teacher by the name of Ruth Zippler. Over the years, it has grown and matured into an institute, hence the new name that we branded last year, PYO Music Institute. We have 6 program divisions: the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra, which is the senior orchestra, and the orchestra that's been in service for the longest. Our Philadelphia Young Artists Orchestra was founded in 1995. Our Bravo Brass was adopted. It was a program that was in existence beginning in 1997, and then we took it under roof in 2003. Our Prism Strings program, it's our string orchestra program. Our Tune Up Philly program, which is our after-school music education program. And then finally we have the Young Musicians Debut Orchestra, which is our beginning level orchestra.
The mission of the PYO Music Institute is to inspire character, commitment, discipline, and community for our diverse student population through the pursuit of musical excellence. It's not so much about the product that you see on stage in Verizon Hall. It's about the process of becoming a better musician, a better person, a better contributor to a larger group.
Life leading up to the pandemic was business as usual. We were even preparing for our first international tour that we would not have done for the past 10, 11 years now. We were all set and ready to go, and the pandemic hit.
Philadelphia is still working through a difficult time in the virus fight.
The health commissioner said the city has to take action.
Every agency and department in this city is now trying to work to stop the spread of this virus.
There is no greater service you can perform for your family, for your friends and neighbors, than to close physical locations and practice social distancing.
At the beginning of the pandemic, it was really a matter of trying to understand in what ways we could engage students online. And the biggest thing that we did was set up a huge number of Zoom accounts for the students to be able to engage with our faculty.
To shift to virtual for an entire year was definitely unexpected.
The pandemic threw a huge wrench into what I do normally as a conductor.
Music is absolutely one of the greatest human endeavors, and it involves community. You can't do music without somebody else. But all of that aside, we had to kind of figure out how to make it work online.
Very few of us are all that tech savvy, if I'm being totally honest.
I thought they did a really good job of making sure that everyone still has some sort of experience with the orchestra.
It was the first time I really had to teach myself online.
Maestro was great and formulated a whole schedule via Zoom on how he would continue to teach us, and I really appreciated that.
I found out very quickly that while I did try to incorporate as much music as I could, it was really just a matter of bringing it back to talking about the community aspect, because we would really spend most of the class just kind of talking.
With Maestro's my friend and I say pep talks. He gives really encouraging talks every week that I would look forward to, where he would be like, it's hard and you guys probably had tough weeks, but we're gonna get through it, and that really helps me a lot.
Being part of PYO has kept him going, because there were some pretty scary moments.
But we got so much support from the PYO Music Institute and Maestro Scaglione and the staff.
We ended up setting up an online learning management platform through Google so that they could engage with digital resources.
We actually recorded the individual parts for practice tempos and put those on our Google Classroom.
I would say that the biggest challenge in the whole process was ensuring that each kid got the attention that they would normally get in in-person rehearsal.
Maestro Bean and Mr. Patrick Bailey trained me to become a timpanist over Zoom. Mr. Bailey taught me the basics and great practice techniques that enabled me to play the repertoire for this season.
So each of the program divisions, directors, had to come up with a unique way to keeping their students engaged.
You know, they say art is how we decorate space and music is how we decorate time. So capitalizing on that time is critical.
I think what was important for me over the course of the entire year was to make certain they played every weekend. And we did that, and it was not easy.
Being part of PYO this year was, for a period, the only social activity that I sort of had.
I had this idea that each of the ensemble divisions would create holiday postcards.
I definitely loved our winter postcard where we played Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson. I love that piece, first of all.
I gotta say, they really stepped up to the plate. And the way we set it up was very much like a professional orchestra would do in a recording session.
Just recording with like a click track and then putting all the pieces together sounds amazing. I just love the overall product, and I love participating in it.
What we tried to do is make sure that there was some kind of playing component every week. There was some kind of listening component every week where people were listening critically and reporting back on what they heard.
I was so happy that PYO was still able to continue, and one of the things that I loved about it was the orchestral nationalism classes that we had.
We got to examine the sort of political underpinning of all of these pieces that we were playing.
And it was interesting to see how music from different countries was interpreted and how it's interpreted in America as well.
Now I'm able to go back and do research on those composers and what their life was like while writing those pieces. I have an idea of the stylistic choices they would be doing during that time period when I'm trying to perform their piece.
And I really feel that it sort of opened my eyes to things that were more than music, sort of auxiliary to the things that we were learning.
The Board of Trustees started a committee to look at what specific things we needed to be aware of and plan for to open to in-person learning here at St. Patrick's Hall. Some of the things that were considered were what sorts of protective measures needed to be in place for student safety.
Our COVID response committee created a very comprehensive operations manual to manage with policies and protocols. That committee was tasked with exploring all possible ways for us to pave the pathway back to in-person rehearsals.
I think PYO really responded in a responsible way.
The first iteration of that manual came out late January 2021, and we're now on the 5th version of that manual. So as new policies and recommendations came out from different studies and from CDC guidance and that sort of thing, we continued to update the manual.
As a pediatrician, I was very happy to see they had a pediatrician on the committee to plan the safety of rehearsals.
One of the things that the research really, I think, does is help people understand that there is a lot of thought that goes into this, and then it's not just any individual saying, I feel like coming in to play music today.
I'm so thankful that the PYO Institute was able to kind of abide by all the health and safety conditions and make this rehearsal happen.
And I think a really good thing they do is everyone has to do a health screening before we come. You have to really go down and make sure you haven't felt any of the symptoms of COVID before you actually come to orchestra.
We kept the online participation so that those students who chose to stay at home were able to still participate virtually in the rehearsal process.
And we've done things like increasing the air circulation rate and the filtration systems that are in place. There are fancy masks that have zippers and buttons and all sorts of things, and bell covers for the instruments.
Playing the bassoon during the pandemic with all these safety protocols can be pretty difficult at times.
So this mask, it has like a slot here and a slot on the other side, so that when you play, the embouchure will go through the slot, and then there's like a little hole right here, and you'll blow through the hole.
And special sanitation equipment and all that. So we put all this together, and we were able to launch our in-person rehearsals.
For me, the first live rehearsal, as soon as we played a couple of measures, I could feel this sigh of relief.
I was so excited when they said we were going back. I was like jumping around my house, like you have no idea.
PYO rehearsals were a lot of fun because we actually were making live music together.
It wasn't coming from their mouths. It was a musical sigh of, I'm doing this live with other human beings. Wow!
I was so excited for my first rehearsal. I was tuning the timpani.
It feels great to be back in person, rehearsing and making music.
Being alone was really hard for me, not because I'm always out, but just because I like to talk to people a lot.
Being back in PYO rehearsals is such an amazing time of my week.
It gives them, I think, some focus, and I think PYO has helped them really become engaged.
Be here, be on time, and be set every week has really taught her to be more independent in everything, not just with music.
I mean, I was just so relieved, just so happy to be back and, being able to exercise our craft.
When we came back to our live rehearsals in February, being in the group was very different. Such an appreciation for the people around us.
I think the pandemic has really made me appreciate the ability to play in person with other people.
They learn that they just can't take for granted that week for week things are going to be the same, and that they've had to figure out other new skills. Well, we've had to figure out as faculty how to instruct them differently, and then they have to adapt to those learning procedures.
I think first and foremostly, our students learned that they're very resilient.
To me, it's the ability to bounce back from something, whether that's a hardship and adversity.
Taking the resources that you have and thinking of something new to do with them.
Keeping your eye on the prize through whatever gets thrown at you.
Always coming back no matter what hits you, no matter what happens.
Despite the obstacles that were placed in front of them because of the pandemic, they were able to rise above and understand their role, their responsibilities was to continue their learning.
These programs like PYO-MI are super valuable because they provide the resources that I can't have, for example, at my school. These programs basically provide a community for me.
When I was a student in high school, I didn't have a whole lot of direction because I was involved with a lot that was at the school, but there weren't a whole lot of opportunities for someone to really push and engage at a deeper level. And music provided that opportunity, and that's what inspired me to go into the profession. And PYO is a big part of that.
The Institute has done a great job of fostering community and just being able to connect everyone across the different orchestras.
PYO did get me through the pandemic. I mean, it kept me sane.
As an alum and also as staff here now, I just am so impressed with how the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra Music Institute has grown over the decades.
I'm just really thankful that PYO Music Institute has made this year as wonderful as it has been. I think that without the structure that they've had in place there, without the staff presence, without the faculty presence, that's been a real huge part of students' lives.
As Maestro Scaglione has said, the PYO Music Institute is helping to develop the leaders of tomorrow.
The really cool aspect of playing in an ensemble is it definitely becomes more like a tribe situation, more like a family situation, and you're seeing these people multiple times a week, and you have to depend on each other to make the music work, which is another situation that can be taken into different parts of life, which makes it more than just music.
So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, all my colleagues here at the PYO Music Institute, our students, our parents, and all of our community supporters, we'd like to thank everybody. We can celebrate the resilience and the resolve of our students, of our families, to having survived as best as we all could this last year in which so much more than music occurred. But it's now time to get back to the music. And I invite all of our wonderful family, friends, patrons, benefactors, our community to join us on that journey when we reimagine and we reignite the power of music this coming September. So thank you very much.
Isn't that just great? I just love seeing how much the students have learned and grown, and I can only imagine the dedication it took to sign on to Zoom yet again and again, week after week for rehearsals. These young people are truly dedicated to their craft.
Yes, they are. And their patience and dedication paid off. Here is our young musicians' debut orchestra under the direction of Kenneth Bean, performing the fourth movement of Rimsky-Korsakov's The Snow Maiden Suite.
What talented young musicians. It's so good to know that live music is making a return to the stage. I always loved hosting your concerts, all of them. Your students over the years as well continue and always will amaze me. Being able to make music is such a gift, and that's a gift you give to nearly 200 students through the Tune Up Philly Orchestral Pathways program.
That's right, Yuki. Our Tune Up Philly program is an after-school music program for students in Philadelphia for whom access to music education is limited. Tune Up Philly Orchestral Pathways program is about so much more than music. It's about creating life pathways for students and using music as a pathway to instill in our students a sense of self-esteem, pride, and the knowledge that with hard work and effort you can achieve anything. It's about improving quality of life in some of the most challenging neighborhoods in our city. And it's about sharing the immense resources in the music education ecosystem in Philadelphia with deserving students.
I can imagine that having an instrument and a mentor through this program served as a bit of a lifeline for children during the pandemic when the rest of their routines and structure began to disappear. Let's take a look at the impact of the Tune Up Philly Orchestral Pathways program.
Tune Up Philly is putting instruments in hands of kids that don't have the opportunity to play because, for whatever reason, their schools don't have the instruments, so we bring them.
Tune Up Philly exists in order to effectively engage Philadelphia proper. I think if you look at the Institute's ensemble divisions that are audition-based, typically that's a tri-state pool. 15 years ago, it was really obvious that the enrollment wasn't coming directly from Philadelphia.
The PYO Music Institute has 5 audition-based ensembles. Tune Up Philly is unique in the fact that any student is welcome to join. They don't have to have any experience, and there's no cost. This is a free program to students who wouldn't otherwise have access to music education. They wouldn't have access to an instrument.
So there's no experience required to be in Tune Up Philly. However, the students have a passion for music inherently.
It's not that kids don't want to play violin. It's not that kids don't want to play expensive instruments. It's that you don't necessarily have the access to do it.
Primarily the neighborhoods north of City Hall and southwest Philadelphia. So these regions just didn't have the same access to resources that you might have on the main line or you might have in suburban settings. So when it came to performing intensive instruction, they just needed a little logistical support, and that manifests itself through intensive after-school programming.
We always want them to be as strong as they can be, but it's really about teaching life skills and just showing them how to be leaders through music and then taking that into different parts of their lives.
There are 2 students who really stick out in my memory, Divine and Devontre Epps. They represent 2 outcomes that can come from, the supportive infrastructure that you have in a performing arts we have this continuum now in Philadelphia.
When I first started music, I was at a People for People charter school, and when I saw the music thing where it's join Tune Up Philly, my mom would not let me do it at first. She was like, you have to get your brother involved. I had to beg and plead my little brother to join with me so we can do it together.
Yeah, I remember I was in 1st grade and my sister, she started doing violin, and I thought it was cool. And then my mom, she signed me up too. I was like, oh yeah.
And Queen found the biggest instrument she could hold on to. And I was like, are you sure you want that one? Because I'm like, I got a little teeny car. What am I doing with this big old... So she was like, I like it. I said, okay. So she fell in love with the cello from the very start.
Well, before I was in Tune Up Philly, I think I was kind of like a quiet kid. When I was in school, I didn't really talk to anybody, and I feel like with Tune Up Philly kind of helped me make friends. It kind of helped me communicate with people, even if it might have been the smallest things.
Through Tune Up Philly, I actually came out my shell more because as a child, I wasn't very talkative. And so I met other people who had the same music taste as me.
What happens in these communities that don't have access? What can this offer student families? We provide that boots on the ground experience to spark that change. Tune Up Philly has partnerships that are really diverse, and the concept here is that you're partnering with groups that have history and trust with their communities.
Hi, my name is Anthony, and I'm 11 years old, and I'm at St. James School. And today I think I'm going to be playing the G major scale, and here it goes.
St. James School began in the year 2011, serving the RAH community, that's Ridge, Allegheny, Hunting Park, for 10 years. We partnered with families and students in the neighborhood for 10 years, and we're very excited. Children and their families in September choose what enrichments they want to be a part of. Tune-Up Philly is one of the most popular ones. Students that choose Tune-Up Philly work with our instructors here 3 days a week for 1 hour each day.
First week here when we start showing them the instruments, I remember specifically seeing some kids like glow when they get a sound out of it, just because it's like one of the most alien things to them at that point. Very good.
It's like kind of fun and inspirational that Mr. Dvorak and Mr. Boyle, they help all the people in Tune-Up Philly.
Something that Mr. Dvorak teach me is you don't have to go fast and zoom all the way like when you're doing your work, you don't have to zoom a whole lot of stuff. You just gotta take your time. So in the clarinet, you just gotta take your time and do a steady beat. And this is what I'm adding. When you have a steady beat, your life flows during life. I think that's how it goes.
Here at St. Barnabas, we're here in Southwest Philly, and I think we're one of the most diverse schools in the network and in the city. Racially, socioeconomically, we really focus on and celebrate like students' growth, and I think that's something like we see with Tune-Up, that we see like them build their skills and practice, and they see the rewards of their own hard work. For them to keep at it over Zoom and to work with Miss Claudia.
When the pandemic first started, it took us a few weeks to figure out how to continue with our violin instruction. Little by little, we put it together, and then we started having lots of Zoom lessons, and we made it work.
And to like carry that over in their music class with Mr. Jones. So I think that connects, and they're able to connect what they're learning with Miss Claudia, what they're learning in music class. I think really just kind of gives them something to look forward to.
In the new year, even with the pandemic, we have actually been able to sign up a whole bunch of new students. We have a brand new violin studio.
They're so grateful for the opportunity that we know the instruments cost so much money and private tutors cost so much money that it's, for them, for many of the students, like it's not an option. And for them to have that opportunity to be with such a, with a talented teacher and have that like dedicated, experience, I think it's just something they would not have access to otherwise.
Tune-Up has a large instrument database, so you need to have enough spares, you need to have the small cellos, you need to have the small violins. We attribute our after-school safe space to support those instruments. Where else can you go to make a joyful noise after school with the reality of working parents and row homes in Philadelphia?
Another thing about participating in Tune-Up Philly is that these kids have something to be proud of. I think that's a challenge for many students who live in urban areas. They're told that there's nothing there for them to be proud of, but there is. These students bring so much innate talent, so much desire, so much creativity, so much joy to what they do, and that is worth celebrating. That is worth putting on stage at the Kimmel Center.
Institute has dedicated around 20% of its budget since 2011 to Tune-Up Philly in order to effect that change. And what we've seen from it has been we've become a trusted network that connects performers to whatever their next successful pathway is.
I'm thinking about doing music therapy for the cello. I just want to be around music. Even if I don't major in it, I still want to, play with the community, play with children with instruments, because I like seeing their little eyes brighten up with the cello. They're like, what is this?
The benefits of music don't make it to those who can best experience them because of the hurdles. So all of Tune-Up Philly is centered around removing those hurdles.
Seeing both my children at Verizon Hall playing, what parent wouldn't be proud to see that? Playing with and alongside of Philadelphia Orchestra.
This was a grandmother I was talking to, and she said, I didn't think that I belonged at the Kimmel Center. I thought you had to dress a certain way. I thought you had to have money to go there. And then all of a sudden, my grandson is on stage, and I get to be there. I just feel like I'm part of the family. I feel so included, and I'm so proud of my grandson for what he is doing and what he's achieving. That, to me, is the beauty of Tune-Up Philly.
I really would encourage Tune Up Philly because that will help the children blossom into their own individual person, helping them with their self-esteem, their self-confidence, setting goals and boundaries as they go through their journey in life, So I'm really happy.
So absolutely inspiring. I just love that our children across Philadelphia have access to learning an instrument and have a community of friends who challenge and encourage them. I want to encourage all of you right now watching and enjoying by saying if you were inspired, like I was by that video, to make a gift to the PYO Music Institute. It's really simple and can make a huge impact on students like Anthony. You can give easily by pulling out your phone and texting PYO Music to the number 44321. That's PYO Music to 44321. Every donation to the More Than Music Gala supports PYO Music Institute's access programs like Tune Up Philly and the Financial Aid Fund.
We believe that no child should miss out on the benefits of a music education because of financial challenges. Please do consider making a gift tonight and joining our community of dedicated supporters. Your financial support makes it possible for students to take part in PYO Music Institute's transformative music education programs, enabling them to become the leaders of tomorrow. I want to now take a moment to express my appreciation for our sponsors of tonight's event. Thank you for your tremendous support.
Thank you to all of you who are giving right now. You are directly supporting the PYO Music Institute's mission to change lives through transformative music education.
We are honored to impact students' lives through exceptional music education, but we couldn't do it without music teachers giving students the building blocks to join one of our ensembles.
For 8 years, PYO Music Institute and its outstanding partners, WRTI 90.1 FM, JW Pepper, and Jacobs Music Company, have presented the Ovation Award to recognize exceptional music teachers who changed the lives of their students. We are so pleased to share with you this year's 10 finalists and to announce the 2021 Ovation Award winner.
Hello, my name is Kevin Gordon of WRTI 90.1. It's my honor to announce the 10 finalists of the 8th Annual PYO Music Institute Ovation Award. Through this award, we recognize excellence and dedication in music education and celebrate teachers who not only share knowledge, but also help to build students' character, self-confidence, and capabilities, impacting their overall development and achievements. Our station is happy to be one of the partners of this award, along with JW Pepper, one of the leading sheet music merchants in the world, and Jacobs Music Company, one of the nation's most prestigious piano merchants and the tri-state region's exclusive representative for new and authentically restored Steinway & Sons pianos. Each year, we ask current and former students to submit a 250-word essay answering this one question. How has your music teacher changed your life? Great question, don't you think? All the finalists had an opportunity to read their nomination essay, and they were honored to hear what the students had to say. Each finalist will receive honorariums from JW Pepper and the PYO Music Institute to support their work, as well as a plaque provided by Jacobs Music Company. After I mention each finalist, Chris Rinaldi of Jacobs Music Company, Bill Johnson, General Manager of WRTI 90.1, and Lee Painter of JW Pepper will surprise the Ovation Award winner. And now I'm happy to share with you the finalists of the 2021 Ovation Award. Brian Brown, Maria Seferati, Kenny Joseph, Rachel Koo, Carrie Ryan, Charles Salinger, Christopher Simon, Lawrence Stromberg, Andrew Theroff, Kim Trollier. The credentials of these music teachers are very impressive. Congratulations to each and every one of them, and many thanks to all who took the time to share about the great impact of their music teachers. And now, please watch as we announce this year's Ovation Award recipient.
Well, Charlie, I'm here today to tell you congratulations on being the Ovation Award winner.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
Well, I'm here with Chris Rinaldi, president of Jacobs Music, and Lee Painter, Chief Operating Officer of J.W. Pepper Company, and together we are partners in the PYO Music Institute Ovation Award. I'm so proud from WRTI to have been partnered with this award for 8 years continuously, because it's so important to honor people who've made a difference in the lives of people who love music like you.
We got 7 eloquent nominations for you. They described you as a mentor and a friend and a teacher and a critic. One young man said that he wanted to be like you, and a young lady said that you were always there for her. So completely deserving you are being the winner this year.
I really appreciate that.
So on behalf of the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra Music Institute, I am honored to present you the Ovation Award.
Well, thank you so much.
As you know, your students have nominated you before. In fact, you've been a finalist twice. This time, your efforts have resulted in your being the recipient of the award. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate this award. I just live for music. It's easy for me to be with my students because I just like them. I try to be that other adult in their life that helps them improve and understand the meaning of music and culture. Also, the reason this is such a nice award is because I was actually a member of PYO in the 70s. I needed that orchestra to pursue a career. That was the first stepping stone that I did to help me have a life in music. Joe Primavera was an important person in my life, and he taught me many things that I needed to know about playing in an orchestra.
Congratulations, Charles Salinger, the 2021 Ovation Award recipient, who was a finalist in 2016 and 2019 as well. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this evening's recognition. We now return to Yuki Washington and Maestro Louis Scaglione.
Congratulations, Charlie. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do for your students, not only as a distinguished music educator, but as one of our most distinguished PYO alumni. We also want to recognize many others who ensure we fulfill our mission of inspiring character, commitment, discipline, and community for our diverse student population. Tonight, we recognize 4 individuals and organizations with our Distinguished Service Awards. These are people and organizations that have generously supported the PYO Music Institute mission with their time, talents, and treasure.
PYO Music Institute's work would not be possible without many foundations who support its mission. On behalf of the PYO Music Institute, I am so pleased to award the Houston Foundation with this year's Foundation Distinguished Service Award. The Houston Foundation has been a generous supporter of the Tune-Up Philly Orchestral Pathways program, ensuring that students have creative outlets after school through music. PYO Music Institute wishes to extend our heartfelt thanks to Eleanor Houston Lashley and to all of the directors of the Houston Foundation.
I am pleased to present David Steiner with our Volunteer Distinguished Service Award. Mr. Steiner has offered incredible assistance this year by connecting the Institute with technological resources from his employer, SAP. Without Mr. Steiner, we would not have had the laptops and iPads that have enabled our remote work. Mr. Steiner has also contributed countless hours of research and even presented at the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association. His research is on the educational environments and ecosystems that are most effective in developing talented young musicians. These students go on to play in ensembles like All-State Orchestra and the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra. Thank you, David, for your commitment and support.
As many of you may know, the PYO Music Institute is run by just a handful of professional and administrative staff. This year, a team of highly qualified individuals came alongside the Institute to provide capacity-building support, specifically in the realm of fundraising and development. I'm pleased to present the PYO Music Institute's Corporation Distinguished Service Award to Compass Philadelphia and the team of gracious volunteers who gave up countless hours to support the Institute's work. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service.
And finally, I am honored to present posthumously the Individual Distinguished Service Award to Dr. Ruth Shore Rappaport. Dr. Rappaport was a friend whose passion for music and young people led her to leave a legacy gift of $1 million to the PYO Music Institute. This gift established the Linda Faith Shore Endowment, named after Dr. Rappaport's sister. This endowment will fund and support Tune Up Philly.
I am a professional musician. I went to school at New School of Music just around the corner. Ruth and I first met in ballet class at Novak and Kowalska's studio in Wayne, Pennsylvania. That was really the beginning of a 30-year friendship.
Dr. Rappaport was a fascinating, wonderful woman. Both she and her two sisters, they all got PhDs, which is incredible, especially given the fact that this was back in the middle of the century when that was really uncommon for women. She went on to do great scientific work to develop all sorts of vaccines for the flu virus, for human rotavirus. She worked on protections for E. coli, so she really contributed a lot to humanity through her scientific work.
Ruth played piano actually pretty well, and as a youngster she also played violin. You might not have known that, but she really liked to play in the high school orchestra. She said, I was thinking about leaving some money for the musical education of young people, and I guess perhaps those memories of high school orchestra might have caused her to think along those lines. I said to her, well, Ruth, there's a lot of orchestras here in this area, and they're all very good, but probably one of the most prominent is the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra.
When she reached out to us to let us know that she had a bequest in mind for the organization, I asked her, what is it that you are passionate about within this institute? Why do you want to make this gift for us? And she said, I think it's so important that musicians have an opportunity to grow and to excel in their abilities, but I also think it's really important that kids have access to that. She ultimately decided that Tune Up Philly was a program that fit her interests, and so she ended up making a legacy gift for Tune Up Philly specifically. She contributed close to $1 million through her estate for Tune Up Philly, which is just such an incredible gift to the organization and mostly to the students. It provides stability for our Tune Up Philly students. Stability is something that's often really challenging for them in their home circumstances or in their communities. The fact that our students now will know that the program is going to exist for them next year is incredible. They know that they're going to come back to their instruments, they know that they're going to come back to their teaching artists, and that they will continue that relationship with somebody who is investing so much into them. They don't need to worry now that that program's not going to be there because of Dr. Rappaport's legacy gift.
Sometimes if people aren't exposed to it at all, why would they be interested in a Sibelius symphony like I heard coming up the steps? I think it's important, and I think by studying an instrument, you learn maybe more than just about music. You learn about discipline and tenacity, how to figure out problems.
Dr. Rappaport set a great example for people who want to support the arts. Of course, most of us don't have $1 million to give to the PYO Music Institute, but she showed that it can be very simple to leave a bequest and to think about what might my legacy be. Donors who support the organization can have the same sort of impact on our students. It may not be lifelong, it may not be to the extent of $1 million, but even just supporting one student in one program can make a difference in their lives.
What an incredible woman, and what an amazing gift.
This gift is truly transformational for our Tune Up Philly students, and we're so appreciative of Dr. Rappaport's generosity. Her passion for education and support of children will live on through this transformative legacy gift. Early in the program, we asked you to consider making a gift to support the PYO Music Institute. You can still do that by texting PYO Music to 44321. But you can also make a gift by leaving the PYO Music Institute in your will or estate plans, just as Dr. Rappaport did. It's a simple way to make a profound impact. We would truly appreciate hearing from you if this is something you've already done, and I personally would be honored to speak with you if it's something you'd like to learn more about. On behalf of the entire PYO Music Institute family, I want to express our sincerest appreciation for all of our supporters, contributors, patrons, and benefactors. Your contributions make our work possible, and you help us fulfill our mission. Thank you.
It's amazing what a strong community of supporters can enable you to accomplish, especially in such a challenging year.
Yes, although it was a challenging year, we continue to improve and grow. For the better part of 1 year, our students were learning in our virtual classroom. This allowed us to take advantage of our hall and rehearsal rooms being empty and invest in some exciting updates, enhancements, and improvements.
Something that the orchestra community does really well is come together in times of adversity, and that's something that at St. Patrick's Hall we've been able to do, is come together as a community at St. Patrick's Hall.
This hall, which was built as a school building in 1887, was a school up until 1967. The history of PYO Music Institute and St. Patrick's Hall goes back to 1999. There are 3 floors, the main hall where our principal rehearsals take place of the large ensembles. And on the 3rd floor is where we have the PYO Music Institute. Well, our typical weekend here at St. Patrick Hall, we begin every Saturday morning at 8:30 with the rehearsal of the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra. We take a break at noon, and then at 1 o'clock, the Young Musicians Debut Orchestra comes in, and they rehearse from 1 until 3:30. We then come back on Sunday afternoons from 2 until 5 for our Philadelphia Young Artists Orchestra rehearsals. And then on Monday evenings at 6 o'clock, our Bravo Brass is here for their rehearsal until 8:30. When we first moved in, we had the south side, or the equivalent of 3 classrooms on the 3rd floor. This last year, we acquired the other 3 on the north side, so we have the whole 3rd floor now.
There's a lot of upgrades that we've done. Everything from the carpeting to repainting, and there are 3 brand new office suites.
And we have a new music library resource center, which is filled with materials that we plan to allow students to have access to, continuing to add to that.
We are creating a recital and practice room, a master classroom space up on the 3rd floor, which we're going to be calling the Primavera Room, named after Joseph Primavera, who was my predecessor and the longtime music director. 51 years he was music director of the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra. We just received a wonderful new grand piano for that space from our friends at Jacobs Music. We have our administrative offices up there, and our Tune-Up Philly room, where all of our Tune-Up Philly activities will be managed from, and instrument storage. So it was very important for us as we continue to grow to acquire more space for us to increase our program offerings. So we've had a long and successful and prosperous relationship here with St. Patrick's Parish, and we recently signed another 20 years to stay here at St. Patrick's Hall. I look forward to it becoming a real hall of music. We look forward to many more years of partnership with them in the years ahead. These changes pave the way to serve more students at PYO Music Institute in deeper and even more engaging ways. I'm excited for this future, and I want to thank all of you watching for helping to support transformative music education now and in the years to come. If you haven't had a chance yet and would like to do so, please support our students by making a gift tonight. You can go online to pyomusic.org or simply text PYO Music to 44321. It's easy to donate online. Thank you for your support.
Can I just say it's been a wonderful evening with you, Maestro. No doubt about it.
Thank you.
How about we end the evening with our students and their music, the real reason why we're all here. Here's the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra under the direction of our maestro, performing the final movement of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony from Verizon Hall at the Kimmel Center.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight for PYO Music Institute's virtual gala, More Than Music. We wouldn't be here tonight without your steadfast support, even during the toughest of times. I would also like to thank my good friend and co-host, Mr. Yuki Washington, for helping us celebrate this evening and all the achievements the PYO Music Institute has accomplished this past year. I would also like to thank him for all that he does in support of children, education, music, and our community. Thank you, Yuki.
You are quite welcome, sir. Thank you.
And to all our friends at home, we look forward to seeing you when we resume in-person rehearsals and performances during the 21-22 season. Thank you and good night.
I
want to express my sincerest appreciation to J.W. Pepper and Lee Painter, Chief Operating Officer, for their generosity in producing our virtual gala, More Than Music. It is because of their tireless efforts that you've been able to enjoy this evening's gala. I am especially grateful to Rocco Richardson, the man behind the curtain, for his time and expertise in visiting each and every one of our ensembles in creating such a beautiful piece. Thank you.
I picked clarinet. If it was a piano, I'd be screaming.
How did you do that? You know, I don't know.
I like banana bread. I make a mean banana bread.
The thing to make is like a nice chocolate cake.
From scratch.
Yeah, so last week it was my birthday, and so, thanks. And so I ended up making my own cake.
Outside of PYO, I love to figure skate, so I've been a competitive figure skater since 4th grade.
Well, I guess I've been able to play lacrosse.
I enjoy graphic novels over comics, but I mean, I can go to newspaper and read comics if I want to.
You know, I've worked a lot on solo repertoire over the pandemic, right? Doing a lot of practice, if my teacher watches this.
I don't like dogs. I don't like turtles. No, their eyes creep me out. I can't drive yet, even though I'm 17, but that's okay. I have my mom.
I enjoy doing like filmmaking and, well, I'm not like an expert or anything. I just like to do it like in my free time.
And these masks are very annoying and they're hard to use.
It's an interesting change. It doesn't really affect how I play, but it is interesting. It's a little bit darker than like the light green used to be. And just the thing that I noticed is that sometimes Maestro's tie matches with the wall. But